Hey there. I'm very excited to be sharing with you that this is episode 1 of SPARTA Seniors. Stay active with Coach Julio. But before we get moving, please watch this message. So in this series, I will be showing specific exercises for the hips, ankles, wrist, and spine. These are the areas that have the highest likelihood of injury from falls. On top of that, I will be showing variations of them sitting and standing, always regressions and progressions. And the best part, you can use anything that you have at home for these exercises. It's for all levels of fitness. They're going to be safe, challenging, and fun. So what makes this program different than other programs? It's this. What I'm going to show you is what I call auxiliary exercises. My auxiliary exercises can complement your current routine, or it can complement what you're doing in other outside activities, group X class, whatever you're doing with another instructor. These can complement what you're doing, or you can use these for your own physical regimen. All right, so for today's video, we are going to do some seated and standing exercises. For this series right here, I'm going to ask you to go get a book, preferably a book that you can place between your knees, and make sure it's not too heavy. And if it is quite heavy, then you're just going to have to work harder to keep it from falling, which is not a bad thing. That means we're going to get your inner thighs to activate and to work harder. And I'm going to ask if you have handy something equivalent to a tennis ball, a lacrosse ball, so even a golf ball, something like that, because we are going to use that later. So hit pause and go get that, and then press and then unpause it so you can jump right into the routine. So let's begin. So what I'm going to show you right now are exercises. Again, now I call them auxiliary exercises. They are designed to complement your current routine or any other fitness program that you have. Now, as we do any movement, I have to ask of you, if you feel pain, discomfort, just stop the exercises. And if you have doubt, contact your doctor and ask for their approval. So that being said, let's jump into it. Because none of these exercises you should have pain or discomfort. That's not how anyone should be exercising. So we put the book between our knees. Yes, the book. And then later on you can read it. I want your chest to be lifted. From here, my hands can be by my side. And notice my foot is directly underneath my knee. From this position, you're going to bring out the leg out and then back. So it's just a simple slide out. Exhale as I go out, inhale. So we call this a hip internal rotation. Hip health is very important for overall gait, walking, knee health, and obviously, and your spine. So I want to introduce these exercises, as I said before, to help you with your overall fitness goals. So when you're doing this, the idea of repetitions is going to be about 10 to 15 reps, and then you would do the other side. As you're doing this, I want you to pay attention. Wow, my range of motion, my left compared to my right, is very different. So this is why I'm a huge fan, and I'm going to continue to show you not only bilateral exercises, which is exercises that work both sides, arms and lower, unilateral, because everyone has muscle imbalances. Sorry, this is the nerdy part of me, where I like to educate. Everyone has muscle imbalances, from athletes to just general population, and we want to also address that to a certain extent. So for our purposes, and again, as you're doing, say, 10, 9 on one side, you're going to pay attention to your reps, to your feelings on your hips, see if you're getting a cramp, to your opposite side. And if you notice a significant difference, then that would increase the importance of doing unilateral training. If you're like, hey Julio, I don't have that much difference between the two, then good. Then we still continue and you do the reps. And by the way, with any questions, feel free to email me. I'm always happy to answer. So let's do this together. I'm going to do 10, 9, 8. The tempo is 1 out, then back. 6 reps, I'm counting down. Exhale, inhale 5. I'm still upright. 4, 3, no one should be slouching. 2, 1. Oof. It catches up for me too. So my chest is up, I go out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe you can notice a difference in my range of motion. 7, 8, 9, 10. So for me, I always share that as I did this, my right hip started to cramp a little bit. That's because I'm really right dominant and I push off this leg a lot. And I have my own personal thing. I've had an injury on this side of the hip many years ago, so that makes sense to me. And if you also wear orthotics or you have medically diagnosed one leg significantly longer than the other, then there's a very good likelihood you will notice a difference between each side. It's not a bad or good thing. It just again, this is why we want to do unilateral training. So when you're doing this at home, I'm just going to go through one set. Again, try to do 10 to 15 reps, 2 to 3 sets. Now I'm going to pair this up with an upper body exercise. So an upper body exercise are important for us to grab things, to push things away, pull things, turn doorknobs. I'm going to show you how to do an exercise to help your posture. And it's straightforward. I want your elbows to be hugging your ribs, your palms up, and relax, shoulders relax. While keeping your elbows glued to your ribs, you're going to try to bring your thumbs back as far as you can. And then I'm back again. So thumbs back. Now I want you to pretend you are holding 2 plates of good food, your favorite food. Exhale, shoulder blades are pinching, but I'm not shrugging. So once again, you may notice a difference, your right side range of motion compared to your left. And that's perfectly fine. You might be really left dominant. You may have had an injury on your shoulder or on your bicep, and that's part of it. So if you're like, I can't get my right more than my left, this is why we want to continue to do this movement. Even though it's a bilateral movement, meaning if we're not doing it independently, it's going to have benefits. Now, if you're like, I can't have my palms face up as much as I can, like holding 2 plates of food, good food, that's still okay. So you do your best. You can also do it with your palms facing in. It just changes the mechanics a bit, but you want to still try to bring your palms up, and you go within your range of motion that you feel most comfortable. So for this exercise, we're going to do 10 reps, and you can also go up to 15. 2 sets would be great. And you pair that up with the hip exercise I did earlier. So let's do 10 together. Elbows hugging the ribs. My chest is up, so no one should be slouching. I'll call you out if you are. I inhale, smell the roses. Exhale, blow out the candles. I have a funny way of coaching, and I say different analogies, but most people remember it when I say, smell the roses and blow out the candles. So this is 4 out of 10 reps. Once again, your ribs are hugging, your elbows are hugging your ribs. I think I may have 4 reps left. So this is why I'm not an accountant. I'm not that good at counting. My number. But let's do 2 more. Humor is a big part of a healthy lifestyle. Without humor, life would be pretty boring. So we did 2 awesome exercises, one for the hip joint and another for the shoulder blade joints. So just to stand up to give you an idea of what we're working, these are your shoulder blades, your scapula. We want to do exercises to pull them back and down. So as we do those exercises of pulling you back and bringing them down, we start to manage and minimize how the rounding shoulder that happens with all of us from doing computer work. Gravity want to pull us forward, so we want to do exercises for the posterior chain. The hip exercises that we did on the chair can also be done on the floor, and there's other variations, but the hip exercises tie into the knee health, your posture, and connects to your spine too. So these are why those are important. So let's sit back down and go to the next series. So part of my video series of SPARTA Seniors is that I like to provide you with some information that can be very useful, and it explains a little bit about why I do what I do. So for today's little segment, I'm going to discuss why I am going to show you some exercises to strengthen your grip. Grip strength is very important, and you may not notice this, but our grip strength also ties into us pouring our cup of coffee, opening a mail, turning a doorknob, pinching, a lot of things that we may take for granted. So there is no better time than now to strengthen our grips. So what I'm going to ask of you, you have access to the internet, Google grip strength in older adults, and I guarantee you're going to come up with a lot of great information regarding grip strength, health benefits, not just for the body, but also for the brain. So go ahead, check that out, and let's get back to working out. All right, my friends, now we're going to do a couple of standing exercises, and this specific one is to help with our gait, our walking. Gait is one of the 7 fundamental movements that we all do, and again, here's the nerdy part of me. There's 7 of them. So there's push, pull, hip hinge, squat, lunges, basically single leg stuff, gait as I said, and a rotation. So those are the 7 fundamental movements that we all do, and believe it or not, in every video that I do, I'm going to cover something, 1, 2, 3, or maybe all of them in one of the videos. But that's why we're doing what we're doing, is to help relearn how to move more efficiently in all those movement patterns. All right, so here's one that I'm going to show you now for the gait movement, and I'm going to have you use cans. Yes, I'm probably going to cook afterwards. So let me jump to why I had these cans. Couple of reasons. First thing is that as we all age, we could see a decline in our grip strength. Grip strength, and you can Google this and do your research. I'm big on that. Grip strength, there's a correlation between that and also brain health. Yes, so we want to keep our grip very strong, especially if you want to become an arm wrestler. That was a joke. So grip strength, again, as we age, most of us will have a decline unless we're doing exercises for it to manage or keep it going. So what I'm going to have you do, we're going to use just household items. So I have 2 cans. They're different weight, which is fine. And well, all that means is that when I come back around, I'm just going to switch so I can even it out. What you're going to do, you're going to grab them with your fingertips. So the fingertips will help strengthen not only your hands, but also your forearm, and then it goes up the kinetic chain. So let me show you how I'm holding it. I probably can't do product placement, so let's make sure I'm not showing the brand. I hope you can see, pinch, pinch, pinch. One's bigger than the other. And what we are going to do is call a farmer's walk. Now, here's the key word, my friends. It's called a walk, not a run, not a power jog, none of that, not a power walk either. So we need to do this exercise slow, and that will allow you to stay focused on your shoulders to make sure they're leveled, and we can walk on a straight line. So I'm going to start back here. I'm pinching these cans. My hands are not touching, the cans are not touching my body. They're away. My shoulders are as level as they can be, and here's a walk. So step, step. Many times when I see individuals do a farmer's walk, they go too fast, and they lose some of the benefits of the exercise. So I'm walking with the can. You will walk the distance that you feel most comfortable with in your room and that you're working out with. There is something called a farmer's carry, which all that means implies that you go faster. So for the walk, you can share that with your friend and family. Be like, Coach Julio said farmer's walk is slow and farmer's carry is fast. They'll be like, wow, I did not know that. And then you will be known as the fitness guru going forward. So once again, I thought that was funny. Pinch. You can have cans that are even. I start back here. So notice I'm slow. The goal is to go in a straight line. The weight of the can, the weight of what you're holding is up to you. But what I don't want is to have you have a weight that does that. No, for right now, just get acclimated to the exercise. So I want to repeat that. The whole point of the series right now is to introduce my auxiliary exercises and get you acclimated to the movement. Any further resistance or weight or making it heavier or challenge, that will come with time. First, let's just do this like for a couple of weeks. What you're doing, you're like, I feel comfortable, I'm good. Then you can go heavier with the can. And in my other videos, I will be showing variations of a farmer's walk, holding your hair, here. So I will take care of you is what I'm getting at. It's not going to be a problem. So how often should you do that? You can do that daily. Maybe you can do that like 3 times a day. You grab your cans, you go back and forth, maybe about 20 paces. And then you obviously, if the cans are uneven or they have different weights, switch it up. Do it again in the afternoon and in the evening. There's a theme of what I'm saying about doing it in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. What I'm trying to do is help you build a habit. Frequency is more important than having a day where you do 4 hours of exercises or 4 hours of walking. Frequency, like 3 times in the week versus doing a whole bunch of stuff for one day. That's just my own little pro tip for you. And and repetition is the mother of all skills, so you'll probably hear me repeat a lot of these tips. So let's jump to the next exercise. Is a fun fact, so you can ask your friends and family this trivia question. Is the brain a muscle or an organ? It's a good question, right? The answer is an organ. The brain is not a muscle, it's actually an organ. So there you go. Share that with your friends and family, and I bet you have a good time. Now, let's do some exercises for the knee. Knee health is very important, and as I said earlier, we want to practice and try to do on a daily basis or on a weekly basis unilateral exercises so we can address the muscle imbalances. Again, muscle imbalances can vary from individual to individual, and sometimes it's influenced by preconditions and past injuries that we've had. And sometimes if you're very, very dominant on one side, that can also cause a muscle imbalance. But we all have it, is what I'm getting at. So don't fret if you notice, wow, this leg is much weaker than that one. It's okay. We all have our muscle imbalances. The awesome part is that we have exercises to help manage it and get better at it. So let's start with that knee extension that I was sharing earlier. Most of you may be very familiar with a knee extension. You may have seen it in the gym or in physical therapy. They have you do, you have an equipment there, your leg extends. So that's a very simple move, but I'm going to show you a few variations that you may not be aware of. So let's begin. And to help you also, I'm going to show you from different positions. Position 1. And as always, if you feel any pain or discomfort, don't do the exercise. When in doubt, contact your primary care physician. All right, so let's begin. I need you to keep your chest lifted, so there's no slouching. So my chest is lifted. So here's the basic knee extension going forward, right? My leg is lifted, it's centered. What I want you to do, as you raise the leg up, flex your foot towards you, and then we're going to squeeze your muscle for 5, 4, chest up, 3, 2, 1. So let me tell you where I don't want you to feel this. If you're like, hey, I can bring up my leg, but I feel my lower back, stop. You should not feel your lower back. If you feel your lower back, what you can do is maybe shift back, further back, you get more back support, and then try the movement. If you still feel it, then please stop the exercises. If you don't, let's continue. That's not to be too concerned. It could just be tight hamstring, but definitely reach out to your doctor if you have any concerns. But please don't do the exercise if you feel your lower back doing this. So once again, I'm going to lift my chest, we raise the leg, and again, I'm going to show you other variations, so stay tuned. My foot is flexed, try that. So I'm pulling my big toe towards me, my chest is lifted, I hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Variation 2. I bring my leg up, and then I'm going to allow my leg to turn out slightly, so I'm going that way. So my femur, my leg, and my foot still pointing back at me, so I'm pulling my big toe towards me. 5, keep chest up, 4, 3, 2, 1. So your vision is probably better than mine, and you're noticing that I'm shaking. So you may shake too when you do this exercise. It's not easy. I heard from one of my clients, she says embrace the shake. So I stole that from her. So if you feel the shaking, embrace it. You're just working hard. So here's that other variation. We went forward, centered to the side. Now we go in. So I turn my femur, my leg inward. My toes pointing back. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Not easy. Let's do the opposite leg. So let's see what my range is. My chest is lifted. I raise my leg. Here's that forward one. Point my toe back at me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest for 3 seconds. 2, 1. Now I'm going to bring up the leg, and I'm going to turn it out. My foot's pointed back at me, and you should be smiling while you're doing this. Squeeze this muscle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So full disclosure, I did work out yesterday, so even though it's still a challenging exercise. Oof. And then I bring it this way, turn inward, guys. Point your toe back. 5, 4, chest up. 3, smile. 2, embrace the shake. 1. All right, so as promised, I'll show you a different view. So I bring up my leg, so that's a center view, right? Where you're seeing it from a lateral view. This is raising it straight. My chest is up. One of you probably called me out, so you're slouching. Try not to, then I turn my leg out. Then I raise my leg, just showing you different angles, and then that's inward with my chest up. One thing I want you to consider is rest time in between. It's perfectly fine if you need like 5, 10, or as much time as you need between each exercise before you go on to the next one. You don't have to jump, jump, jump. Let oxygen, breathe. Take your time. That's how I want you to do it. All right, so let's do one more round with the leg extensions. My chest is up. Oh, by the way, you're probably wondering how many times. Try to do that like 3 to 5 sets. So 5 seconds for each hold, or 8 seconds, and repeat that for 3 to 5 sets. It's no joke. And you can also do that throughout the day. So maybe 2 sets in the morning, 2 sets in the afternoon, or in the evening. It's all good. All I want you to remember is that every effort counts on that point. So we'll do this together, chest up. I extend my leg, point my toe back at me. So it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 3-second rest. 2-second rest. 1. Raise my leg, turn my leg out. My foot flex as much as I can. 4 seconds. 3 seconds. Squeeze this muscle. 2, 1. Your quadricep muscles has 4 muscles in it. And these exercises are designed to help track your knees, by the way. Forgot to mention that. Knee tracking is important for all of us. And I turn my leg in. I'm not forcefully turning my leg in. I'm just giving you the idea of what I'm doing. 3, 2, 1. What are those 3 words? Embrace the shake, Julio. All right, let's do the opposite leg, guys. Lift my chest, leg up, pointing that toe back. Smell the roses, blow out the candles. 4, 3, pulling this back. 2, 1, down. 3-second rest. 2-second rest. 1, chest is up. I'm going to give you a suggestion too. If you have friends or family, why don't you have them do these exercises with you? There's strength in numbers. That's about 5 seconds. I think next episode I may have a timer so I don't go on jibber-jabbing. Whoa. So that's turning it in, as I said. Squeeze this muscle. Give me 3 seconds. Chest up. 2, 1. So once again, my friends, you will do that like 3 to 5 sets. 5 to 8 seconds. Rest is important. You take as much rest as you want in between. If you feel your lower back or other areas other than your quad muscle, that's the muscle that should be firing, stop the exercise. Stop the exercise. Stop the exercises. I am a huge advocate of telling people where they should not feel it. So I think that's important. So that was all right, my friends. So this is part of the video where I like to share a quote that's uplifting, motivating, and encouraging. So this one, guess who said this? It's the repetition of affirmations that leads to belief. And once that belief becomes a deep conviction, that things begin to happen. I'll just say it one more time. It's the repetition of affirmations that leads to belief. And once that belief becomes a deep conviction, things begin to happen. That was said by Muhammad Ali. So the repetition of what you're doing will lead to some really, really, really good results. And I'll leave you with that. Now we're going to jump into another series of exercises. So earlier we did some hip stuff. We did some shoulder blades, knee extension. Now let's put it all together. What I'm going to have you do is a squat. We're going to do some chair squats. We're going to sit and stand. However, what I want you to pay attention to is that you're not limited to one stance for getting up and getting down off the chair. So for many of us, some of us, however you want to phrase it, we may be able to lift better, to stand up better from a chair if our stance is wider. What you want to pay attention to is that your knees, your hips, and your feet, they just make sure they're tracking. So for some people, they feel more comfortable with a narrow stance. It's all how it's structured. Many of us have different hip structures. And again, it could be preconditions from the past, but we're not all structured the same. For some of us, again, we feel more comfortable with a wider stance. So what you can do is just explore what you feel most comfortable with. What muscles do we get with the different stances? So if I am wider, I'm going to get a little bit more inner thighs. If it's narrow, then it's going to be predominantly all quads. Regardless, it's still quad muscles. Wider, you just get more. So that's why you can explore both stances. However, when we sit and stand for this exercise, as I said in my other exercises, we do not work through pain or discomfort. So if you feel knee pain, discomfort, stop the exercise. It's not worth it. And if you don't, then let's do it. All right, so let's start with a regular just hip width stance. So the only suggestion, another suggestion I'm gonna give you is your arm position. Pretend there's a bar in front of you and it's the height of your chest. If need be, it can be a little bit higher. So what this is going to do, if you can't see it from this position, my chest is lifted. So if I'm doing just this, my shoulders are rounding, I'm looking down, and gravity's already pulling me more than if I'm up in this way. So again, like, it's just physics 101. So what I want to help you is to start to do this exercise with your chest up. So what we can do is pretend we're grabbing a bar. I got that bar. I feel solid on my feet. I pull myself up. And then I sit back. 3, 2, 1. So again, my arms are up. And some of you may say, which I know from experience of training my clients, they'd be like, my arms are getting more work than my lower body because I'm keeping them up. Boom. Yes. So the more muscles we can work per movement, the better it is sometimes. It's good. So once again, my arms are up. I grab that imaginary bar. I pull myself up. And then I sit. Okay, so now let's do a different stance, shall we? So notice my stance is wider. What's wide? You get to choose. It can be just slightly wider than what you started with. Give you shoulder width. Comfort is extremely important for doing these exercises with me. Auxiliary exercises, as I said earlier, are designed to complement your current routine, not substitute. So that's why I want you to explore the other exercises I showed you and introduce them to your current routine and explore different stances. So wrist position, leg position, and other positions of the arm or the joints can dictate how we get the muscle groups, and it can also complement, again, it will complement what you're doing. All right, so I'm going to go a little wider. So as for me, it's about shoulder width apart. As I said earlier, we want to try to have our hip, knee, and feet tracking. And here I go. So I pull myself up. 3, 2, 1. I'm up. 3, 2, 1. Exhale on top. 3, 2, 1. And so for the repetitions for this, you get to choose. You can do 5 reps, 10. Try to see if you can do 10 reps 3 times. As I said earlier, some of these movements may be new to you, the different stances, and having your arm up makes a big difference. You can spread it out through the day. You can do 1 set in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 in the evening, or you can just do it however you feel most comfortable. All right, my SPARTA seniors, that was a good workout today. So for our next episode, I'm going to be doing some dynamic balance exercises. Yes, dynamic balance. Some exercises on the floor, and some other creative exercises for one or all of the 7 fundamental movements I talked about. All right, so my show would not be complete without a cameo from Fu, the fitness feline. Let me grab her. She just came in. She needs a little help. Just to show. There she is. Fu, the fitness feline. Nice and quiet. Tell me what you think. I would love to hear from you. So please send me your thoughts, comments about the show. I would love to see any pictures of your pets. And I would especially love to know your personal fitness goals. I would definitely include it in future workouts, and it will be my pleasure. So send me an email. Until then, remember this: every effort counts.